Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Ladayayine. Hiranyashipo Rashaha. Yato, yato, yami, yato, nishima.
Hare Hare.
Translation. Among punishments and divine chastisement, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things I am silence, and of the wise I am wisdom. Text 39. Yasham Sarvamutaram Viyamchita Ahamarina Nadarasti Nayasam Vayamutam Chacham. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am urging you to see of all existences. There is no being moving or unmoving that can exist without moving. Text 40. Antosti Madhyana Vibhudyama Paratata Heshvarudeshara Proto Vibhudite Vistaromaya. Translation. The mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite omnibuses. Text 21. Yadya vibhutam sattvam Srimad-Vishnu-Deva Tatya Deva Gakshatham Amadevo Prasambhava. Translation. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from the thoughts far of my soul. Text 42. Antava Oraitena Kim Yaveten Tavarjuna Vishyavyaha Yama Krishna Ekam Shreya Jagat. Translation. And what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? A single fragment of myself and pervading support. Our universe. Text 1. Chapter 11, Text 1. Arjuna Uvaya Mad Anugrahaya Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam Yatvayoktam Stena Mohoyam Vigato Mama. Translation. Arjuna said, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now dispelled. Text 2. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam shruto vistarasho maya tatvata kamalapatraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. Translation. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your inexhaustible glories. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Text 3. Evam etad yatat tam atmanang parameshvara drashtum ichhami te rupam aishvaram purushottama. Translation. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Text 4. Manasya yadi tachakyam maya drashtum iti prabho yogeshvara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. Translation. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. Text 5. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashyame Partarupani Shattashota Sahasvashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine forms, multicolored like the sea. Text 6. Pashyadityan vasun rudran ashvino marutastata bahunyadrishta purvani pashyashcharani bharata. Translation. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Rudras, and all the demigods. Behold the many things which no one has ever seen or heard before. Returning to chapter 10, text 38. I think there's a bottle over there. Use that one. Okay, so it says, among punishments, I am the rod of chastisement, and of those who seek victory I am morality. Of things of secret things I am silence, and of the wise I am wisdom. Purport. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down the miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the rod of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important, because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself. Text 39. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being moving or unmoving that can exist without me. Purport. Everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor the unmovable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. One time the devotees were with Srila Prabhupada, and one woman stood up and said, Srila Prabhupada, there's Maya in the temple. And Prabhupada said, if you can tell us where there isn't Maya, let us go there immediately. So this is the idea, is that whatever is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. So that was studied in the Bhagavatam. There's what's one of the 4 seed verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it states the same point that Prabhupada put here in the purport. And basically that which is not, illusion means it's not real. So, thank you, Prabhu. Sorry. Okay. So basically nothing is not founded upon the energy of Krishna. So that's why we were speaking yesterday. For the pure devotee, there's no such thing as Maya. There's no such thing as the material world. Everything is actually from Krishna, connected to Krishna. Like that. So illusion means that which is not. Means that. And in this verse, Krishna is saying, nothing exists without me. So this text here is similar to chapter 10, text 8, which is a very famous verse. We can take a look at that one real quick, just to kind of echo this point that Krishna is making. We can chant the Sanskrit and translation in unison. It says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So this is interesting, is that one who knows that Krishna is the source of everything, right, then they worship him with all their hearts. And what this means is that they become pure devotees. So, or rather, they begin, like we heard before recently, I was explaining that there's a mango, and the mango is ripened, and at the ripened stage it's very juicy, but the mango which is unripened will become a ripened mango in due time if it's not stunted in its growth. Sometimes if you put a certain type of fruit in the refrigerator, it stops the ripening process. And actually in the supermarkets, they always advertise like ripened on the vine, or like that. And if you have if you inspect a vegetable or a fruit which is ripened on the plant, then the qualities are different, and it constitutes a superior offering for Krishna. So the unripened mango is also one who's following the pure path of devotional service as chalked out by the previous acharyas. That person is also considered a pure devotee. And they do this. They worship Krishna with all their hearts. And let's move on. We'll go ahead to go to text 40. So the idea we read not too long ago in one of the purports, that those hearing more and more about Krishna is how one advances in devotional service, because the more one hears about Krishna, the more convinced they become that it's appropriate and favorable and intelligent to serve him. Just like if you have the presidential candidate and you don't know anything about them, it's hard to really vouch for him. But if you meet that person and you're very impressed by that person, then you may be willing to take up their campaign like that. So when we hear about Krishna's opulences, then that convinces us, because everyone in this world is actually looking to serve somebody, and everybody wants to be the servant of the best person. Now, that's what's happening under kind of like under the surface. Because like say like a family man. A family man, this is why it's called Maya. It's very interesting. Prabhupada has a cool lecture, I think it's in 1966 or 1967, where he's describing that what is Maya. And he says that there's a family man, and the family man is working hard day and night, like anything, to provide the basic necessities of life for his children and his wife. And yet, he thinks he's the master of the household. And Prabhupada says, this is Maya. Because he's the one slaving at some job filled up with people, you know, and he's forced to associate and he's forced to go. Prabhupada would always, you know, chastise, or he made some social commentary about the motor car society and how people are racing breakneck speeds. And he may be making millions of dollars, you know? And he thinks that he's actually enjoying, but actually he's suffering. Right? So this is Maya. So, I was reading, there was a book open over here, somebody was reading, so in the second chapter, it stated that Kama Esha Krodha Esha, that it is lust only. So Arjuna asked a question, why is one forced to sin, you know, against his will, basically? And he says that it is lust only. O Arjuna, which is born of the modes of passion and later transformed into wrath and is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. And he says that right after Krishna also describes that by lust it burns like fire and you can't put it out with fuel. And it's Prabhupada in the purport mentions that Manusmriti means the Manu Samhita, like that. So there's Smriti and there's Shruti. Shruti is the original Vedas, and Smriti means that which is remembered, or it's basically spoken by the devotees, the authorized devotees, which it says the same message as the original Vedas. So things like the Puranas, their histories, like, and they're called Smriti. Also the Bhagavad Gita is called a Smriti. But Mahabharata, and some persons, they claim that these things are not bona fide Vedic literatures, but on the strength of our acharyas like Srila Jiva Goswami, he emphatically supports through a lot of philosophy and presentation that these are basically the fifth Veda, and they're as good as the original Vedas, like the Sama, Yajur, Atharva, like that. Because they're spoken by the same person anyway, you know. Veda Vyas, he wrote the Vedas and then he disseminated those to 4 disciples. That's explained in the Bhagavatam. And they have names, and they went to different different topics, and their disciples took charge of those bodies of knowledge. But Srila Vyasadeva continued writing, and these literatures are written by an infallible person who's completely free from the 4 defects. So they're as good as the Shastra. Anyway, so the point I was trying to make was that Manusmriti says, Prabhupada writes in the purport where he says, you can't put out the fire of lust with sense enjoyment. You can't put out the fire of lust with sense enjoyment. So that's something, it's just like, all right, get me a shoe and I'll just like knock that into my brain. Because, it's just, that's our tendency. And Prabhupada in that purport is very succinct. It's a very succinct purport. But he describes how we think we're getting some little pleasure from sense enjoyment, from satisfying our lusty desires with sense enjoyment. But the happiness which we perceive or that we think that we experience actually it becomes our worst enemy. The ultimate enemy is that little happiness that we think we're getting from sense enjoyment. And Prabhupada describes there the Maitunya Agara. Maitunya Agara. Like that. That means the shackles of sex life. The shackles of sex life. And Prabhupada describes that this material world is called Maitunya Agara. That it is the shackles of sex life, this material world. And this desire to, because we're not able to serve Krishna, Prabhupada makes a comparison that we're like in the prison house. In the prison house, the people who are not able to behave properly in society, they get put in the prison house and they're shackled by the bars. Similarly, those who are not able to behave properly in the spiritual world have to come here and they're shackled by sex life. And that little bit of pleasure that we think we're getting from sex is the ultimate enemy of the soul. The soul himself is never affected by sinful activities, but being in contact with the material energy, he does so many sinful things and he's forced to suffer again and again. So the soul is actually aloof in terms that, we say conditioned soul. The soul becomes covered by the modes of material nature and forced to act under the modes because of misidentification with those modes and with the body, right? But actually he is not the body, so he can never actually be contaminated in one sense. So it's kind of it's an elaborate understanding, but basically it's like the pure light of these lamps, there's a bulb inside and the covering is surrounding the pure light source. Similarly, by our previous activities and association, guna sangha, we associate with different modes and then we're forced to act according to those modes of nature. That dictates the opaqueness or the thickness or the darkness of the lampshade which covers our real consciousness. And that's discussed, our dear Bhakta Joseph was mentioning at the lake that there's a nice verse which mentions that different layers of lust cover the conditioned soul. Like the womb is covered by an embryo. That's very covered. You cannot see the baby through the belly, Then there's smoke that covers the fire, but you can still see the fire through the smoke. And it's interesting, if you ever been camping and you have like lamps and things and you light a fire, if you light that fire and there's like a lot of other lights around, mostly you just see the flame. But as soon as you turn out the other lights and it becomes more dark, you see a lot more of the smoke, which was there. And specifically, like, that smoke is actually going on like the whole time, but we weren't able to see it because there was too much light around. But actually it's there. You ever notice if you make a fire in the daytime, it doesn't look like there's that much smoke there. But as soon as it's nighttime, the same fire will be looking like it's making a lot of smoke. It's something to do with like the light. Like the smoke is so fine, it doesn't, it kind of gets lost when there's so much light around. But as soon as it's more dark, then it's more perceivable. Anyway, some phenomenon. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's there. The fire is covered by smoke all the time, but you can see the fire. So that means less lust. That means less conditioned, like that. Anyway, so this sex shackles of a sex life. That's really heavy duty, actually, and in order to go beyond those shackles of sex life, then we have to perform devotional service with a lot of enthusiasm. And specifically, it's stated that there's a word that said, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. We have to perform heavy duty or intense devotional service. So I found these verses. They're in the 3rd chapter. The end of the 3rd chapter speaks a lot about this lust. So there's that question that Arjuna asked, which is text number 36. 37, Krishna says it is lust only. 38, he talks about the coverings. These lust, as a fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb. Similarly, the living entity is covered by different degrees of this lust. And then 39, thus a man's pure consciousness is covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. And that's when that purport comes. He says, advancement of material civilization on the basis of sense gratification means increasing the duration of the material existence of a living entity. Okay, so I went on about that too much. I lost my point. So let's jump back in here with the verses from today. I want to ask maybe if Krishna Shravana Prabhu, do you have any topics to share with us? No? Okay, so does anybody want to bring anything up, or should we keep reading? Okay, so text 40. Chapter 10, text 40. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestation. They're pretty serpents. You know, some of us may have had like affinities for different things, and when you come to Krishna consciousness, it's always great to like trade them in, cash them in. Like, say you have a favorite movie star that had a certain, he was like, he was invaluable, or he was the maverick, or he was the down to earth, hard-working guy. It's just everybody's best friend. It's always good to just cash all those in for spiritual attachments, because we're going to have to be attached to something. And then we always are meditating, we always are absorbed in some thought processes, and we have to spiritualize them. We're not impersonalists. We're not impersonal. Being an impersonalist is just a state of consciousness which is born out of frustration. But we are never impersonal. I may be an impersonalist because I'm really frustrated, and that's making more sense to me because I just can't agree with reality. Just being a contrarian, they say, I think there's something like that. You know, whatever you are like about it, I just say, there's some guy I used to really see, he used to say that about him. He used to say that about himself. He said, I think you're like me too. Which is not very contrarian. And bad philosophies for me. So we may be impersonalists because we just are too frustrated. It's like awkward relationships. But we are never impersonal. That's reality. We're never impersonal. I mean, sometimes we see that phrase like, you can act impersonal, like you can know that an impersonalist, right? But by definition, we are never impersonal. Sometimes I'm not placing the very type of language, but I'm just trying to make that point. It's like it's not possible for us to not have some meditation, some attachment, like that, some desires. Specifically, the desire is the one that it's like it's impossible. So that's why I just mentioned could we trade in all those attachments, tendencies, preferences that we maintain in the new materialistic lifestyle we can trade in one. So I always thought so. I think it's awesome. The best things are ones who could that are awesome design. They use that thing, it has a specific physiological purpose. I guess usually like it's hot, so but the ear uses a special tool for some animals to like get cool. That's why I love it. When it's large, there's like a chance for the wind to like that heat. And go ahead. The point I was trying to make is that mental shade is there. It's a foolish thing and it is used to know. So the mental shade says it's stated that he goes on chanting since the beginning of the universe all the glories of the Lord with every single one of his heads, and he can't finish. So that was the point I'm trying to make. Same point Prabhupada was making here. And Krishna said, is there some near indication? Similarly, other great souls have also confirmed. So, like this idea of like Kashi, like kind of like taking like a kind of sort of like taking passion nature from the human sort of aside from Krishna consciousness, applying Krishna consciousness. That's the kind of that's the idea, right? It takes things that is something you don't get or like if someone really likes art, but the artist like forgot the conscious like so how does someone do that? Can you do that with everything, or there's some things that just can't really be put over the line, which can be destroyed once they pass on. So it you have to be a little creative with some things. Say like the things that all the conditioned souls love to do, which are like all the nonsense things which Krishna doesn't like. Right? So smoking, illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, killing people, all this type of stuff, bogus crap that the conditioned soul likes to do under the modes of ignorance and passion. We don't do those things personally, but just hear about Krishna or Balaram. So there was this demon that like he in Krishna Lila, he transformed and he pretended to be a cowherd boy. And then they were having a game. And, when the loser loses the game, then they have to carry all the other boys on their back. And they get to taunt them, like, yeah, like that. Because, it's fun to carry someone on your back, but it's better to be on the back, isn't it? You will ride on top of King of the World. Right. So sometimes Krishna's team would lose and sometimes Balaram's team would lose. So this time, Balaram's team was the winner. And this boy decided to pick up Lord Balaram. And then he started running a different direction. And he's thinking, what is going on here? And he started to transform into a massive demon. Huge demon. And Balaram saying, wow, this is really wonderful. This boy has transformed into a demon. And then he gets this idea. He understands he's going to try to kill me. So then Lord Balaram gives him one of these. Boom. Dead. Immediately finished. And everyone says, well done. Well done. So you just think of that. You don't have to bop anybody. Just think of Balaram, or you think of Krishna. Krishna grabs Kamsa, throws him down. He straddles him. And then he goes like, boom, 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 dead. That's great. And Prabhupada used to listen to the Krishna book, and he would laugh and laugh about the demons being finished by Krishna. Easy work. Easy work. This isn't any, bad, cartoon show where they have to make the battle last like 15 episodes. And it was like this, and then it was like that. And then he ran over here. So this and this and that. No. If Krishna wants to kill somebody, nobody can protect them. And if Krishna wants to protect somebody, nobody can kill him. Anyway, so that's like one small example that, okay, it's not exactly the same. Say you used to be a criminal and you like to do things like that to people. That's concerning. Don't do that anymore. Instead, purify yourself by chanting, do the program, take prasadam, do everything like that, and hear about Krishna bopping the demons. Right? So similarly, there's other things like that are not crossover, like doing intoxication. Say there's this one painting, and actually Krishna defeated 2 forest fires. You may have noticed that. I always thought that was interesting. He defeated 2 forest fires. And one of the forest fires, there's a painting of it, and Krishna basically like smokes the entire fire. Like he just like, what are they, he just breathes in the entire fire. So it's like, that's pretty much what, the smoking business is, breathing in fire, and nobody can breathe fire better than Krishna. That's what I meant to say. He took in the whole forest worth of smoke and the flames like it was nothing. So you just hear about him like that. And then other devotees we may have been beach boys, And one devotee, he told me that he spent a lot of time at the beach. And sometimes, he kind of had that preference. But when he would see the painting of Krishna and Balaram at the beach, there's a beautiful painting, he would be completely satisfied. Let them go to the beach and enjoy the sunset and the breeze and the sand on the toes. I'll just do my service. And one day I'll join them. Like that. Is that okay, Prabhu? Okay. Do you have something, Krishna, Prabhu? Okay. Thank you for tolerating me. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.